Hello, gamers, and welcome to the second episode
Fuck you.
of
Fuck
Bro Talk.
you.
Okay.
Fuck
Nope.
you
Nope.
you.
Nope. Nope.
Today we're talking about Space Jam 2, a new cash
Can we
grab.
get
I mean legacy.
we get a roll call?
Okay.
All right. So we have good old Papa Abraham Logan. We have
I like eating
Jotaro,
plastic.
and we
Yeah.
have Jamal, and then
You
there's
can
me,
just call me
Christian.
JoJo as well.
No, fuck you. All right.
Okay.
Anyways, like I said, we're talking about the new Space Jam movie. Logan didn't even watch it, but just from reading the Wikipedia article, he'll be able to base his judgments off of it. In which it's not hard to base your judgments off of a garbage movie. Um, anyway,
Like Terminator 2.
where do we start? Um, so I guess do we just do like a full review here from like the beginning of the movie to the end, and just
I mean,
work on it?
yeah, I would guess so.
All right.
I barely don't want to talk about this movie, so you're probably not going to hear a lot of it from me.
Do you think I want to talk about it?
No.
Yeah,
That's why, I
well,
guess this is why we do the
Logan
podcast.
hasn't even seen it. And he doesn't want to talk about it. I could already tell that.
I'll talk about it.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll start.
Nothing
So,
about this article is really getting me. Wait, whoa. Justin Roiland voices Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith in this movie.
Okay, that's a
yeah,
plus.
yeah,
The
Rick and
titular
Sanchez
protagonists of
is
the
in
Rick
this
and
movie.
Morty franchise who return the Tasmanian devil to Bugs after failed experiments with him. I gotta see this movie now.
All right. Well, anyways, the movie kind of starts off with like a 3-minute montage of LeBron James and how he's such a great basketball player. Like,
He's
yeah, no,
not.
he is. He is. He's not the
He doesn't
best.
compare. He doesn't compare to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he's not the best, but he's a good basketball player. But yeah, like he's the main thing in the movie, just like how Space Jam 1, the main thing was Michael Jordan. So, they have to be like, yeah, here's this dude. So anyway, it cuts to his kids that aren't actually played by his kids. I don't even know if LeBron James has kids in real life. He probably
He does. He
does.
has 3.
Yeah.
Two
Alright.
two sons and a daughter.
Nice. Alright. Anyway, it cuts to his kids playing basketball, or at least his son, and his other son, who isn't really into sports. He's into like designing video games. He's on the bench like playing a video game he made. And LeBron walks onto their own basketball court, the one they own, because they're rich. While like they're both half-ass playing basketball, and LeBron's like, "Man, I don't care if you're playing basketball for fun. You gotta get in the game. You gotta play it truly. Like
Here, can
basketball
I
is
just give an
played."
entire description of the movie in a couple words?
We have to do that at the end.
Oh.
We have to do the
Well,
entire.
well, this is like the info about the movie.
Yeah, but we'll. All right, fine, go for it.
When LeBron James and his son Dom, who isn't one of his sons, are trapped in a digital space by a rogue AI, LeBron must get them home safe by leading Bugs, Lola Bunny, and the whole gang by notoriously undisciplined Looney Tunes to a victory over AI's digitalized champions on the court. A powered-up roster of professional basketball stars as you've never seen them before. It's the Tunes versus the Goons, and the highest-stakes challenge of his life that will redefine LeBron's bond with his son and shine a light on the power of being yourself.
Alright, well, as shit as that description was, we have to go frame by frame. Or not frame by frame, but like scene by
No.
scene for the movie. Alright, no, because then the podcast can only be like 10 minutes. We want it to be our normal 40 minutes. Alright, anyway, so LeBron starts yelling at his kids for half-assing basketball. He's like, oh yeah. He talks to Dom, the computer whiz son. He's like, oh yeah, you gotta get ready for basketball camp. He's like, bro, I'm going to E3 camp. And they had like a real cringe moment. Then he shows his dad his game, and he's like, whoa, your game's really or he's like, your game's okay or whatever. He didn't like it at first. And then like he does this move to try like in game. He does this move and it like erases his character. This'll be needed for later. It erases his character and like crashes the game. Um. Anyway, LeBron is called in because the main bad boy of the movie, Algorithm, or as he's called, Al G, rhythm. I'm just gonna call him Al because it's a pain in my ass to say algorithm. So anyway, Al's like, oh yeah, if we use you in like video games, commercials, such and such, you'll make so much money, and it's a great idea. And then LeBron's like, no. Why? I don't know. But yeah, there was literally no reason. She's like, oh yeah, I don't want to be in video games or whatever like that. Anyways, he called his idea like stupid. LeBron did, and like everyone else in the room that like proposed the idea was like, oh yeah, it is stupid. And then Al, the guy in the computer, the algorithm dude, he was like, my idea is not stupid. You'll regret calling my idea stupid. And eventually, like after the meeting, Dom, who went with him because he's like good at computers, he like got lost or whatever, and his dad went after him, and they both got sucked into the computer by good old Al. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing most of this. Jotaro, why don't you help me?
No.
Okay, fine, I'll just continue. So yeah, they get sucked into the computer. They're like, oh yeah, behind Dom's back, Al is like, oh yeah, LeBron, you have to go find your own team, and if you don't beat me, you'll be trapped in the computer for life. So go make up your own team. Although, so he's like thrown in with the Looney Tunes or with Bugs Bunny, and the next hour of the movie is LeBron and Bugs Bunny finding the rest of the Looney Tunes, even though LeBron wanted to find like a bunch of good players for his team, like King Kong or other people like that. But
Big
Bugs is
Tungus.
like, no, deal with it. So, and then behind LeBron's back, since there's gonna be a game, obviously LeBron's finding his team. So Alice to find his team, which is led by dun 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 LeBron's son, because he wants to prove to his dad, but he doesn't know the stakes. He just wants to beat his dad, um, to show that he's good at basketball, and Anyway, he's all like powered up from power ups from his game. Like his game isn't normal basketball. Like the game he made isn't normal basketball. It's like powered up basketball. It's kind of like
It's
Mario Kart.
like
It's like Mario Kart with like cubes, but you play
oh, like
basketball.
NBA Jam.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
It's like a basketball game, but everything's just on crack.
All right. Anyways, so Al fixes his team up by like giving animal powers to like famous NBA players in the game that they were put in the game. So anyway, want to skip a few after a bunch of product placement
Basketball.
and ads. This movie's a giant ad. Um, we get to the basketball game, in which just like the first movie, uh, the Goon Squad, the bad team led by a good old Al, like takes the lead by like 1,000 because they get like 200 points a shot. So it's like 1,000 to like 30 at the end of the first half, and then so LeBron's just like, all right, guys, we gotta play. All right, LeBron's like, you guys gotta do whatever you can do to take score or to score. And they're like, we'll be loony because we're the Looney Tunes. And then they took the lead by a point, and by the third quarter, Dom's like, yo, I want to go play with my dad because I just realized that he's gonna be stuck in here if he loses. Also, yeah, I wanna I wanna go play with my dad because he's my dad, and I wanna make up for plot convenience.
You're my dad. Boogie woogie woogie.
You're my dad. Woogie, woogie, woogie. I love that meme.
Anyways, so yeah, Al does everything in his way or anything he can to like stop them from winning, and eventually they score and get up by 2. So all right, all right. Anyway, so Al's team is up by 1 point with like 10 seconds to go, and LeBron is about to score, but then Al like jumps on the court and like stops him. But then for plot convenience, Dom picks up a disc, throws it under LeBron's feet, and he scores and they win the game, and then yeah, so that's like the end of the game, the big climax. They won, and then like they cut to the end of the movie where LeBron's taking his son to camp. He's like, man, I can't wait for basketball camp because like basketball's so fun now. And then his dad's like, surprise! Even though you're staring right out the sign, you're going to E3 camp. And then Bugs Bunny raids LeBron's house. But that's the end
Okay,
of
so
Space Jam
okay,
2,
okay,
New Cash Grab.
okay,
All
okay,
right,
okay.
you want to hear my
All right,
review
wait,
that I wrote?
That sounds like the
Before
most
anyone
derivative
starts
sequel I've ever heard.
It's literally the same thing, but with LeBron James.
before anyone starts talking, did you forget to mention that they tried to kill off Bugs Bunny? Like
Oh yeah,
that
they
was an
did.
actual
Oh
plot
yeah,
point.
shoot. All right, listen, I skipped right through the game. The final like point of the game, they used that like special move that like broke the game, so that way Al would like die with the game, and then Bugs Bunny would have died too apparently because like the character that uses the move like gets erased.
No, and
But
the stupid part about that is
he didn't die.
that LeBron James could have done it and he would have been fine.
Yeah,
But
because he was
since
a
Bugs
human.
Bunny does it, he looks like a dumbass and he sacrifices himself for no fucking reason. It's
And
so
doesn't
dumb.
die, and he doesn't die anyways because you know you can't
Okay,
kill off Bugs
so
Bunny.
I wrote 2 things about this movie down. Do you want to hear them?
You actually took
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah, I actually
Oh, I
wrote
forgot to
something.
take notes. Shit.
I didn't take notes. I cried watching this
I wrote a
movie.
whole fucking review. So my one review was Lola Bunny isn't hot in this movie.
Oh my god,
That was my one review.
Very complex.
And here's the other one that I
very
actually put a lot of
complex.
effort into. I'll be honest, right off the bat, and say that I've only seen the original Space Jam a total of 3 times. I find it to be mildly enjoyable, but it wasn't a film I ever latched onto. The nostalgia of the 90s is all over it, and that's what makes it entertaining to this day. But I still don't think it's great. When I heard that they would be remaking a very loose sequel and LeBron wasn't going to be filling. Fuck, what? This doesn't make any sense. When I heard they would be making a very loose sequel and LeBron wasn't going to be filling the shoes that Michael Jordan left, I was intrigued. With the technology today, the concept could be big and fun. While Space Jam: A New Legacy definitely had its moments, but it's ultimately just shit. Here's why. Unless you're showing this to your kids, it's not that special. Here's the premise in a nutshell. LeBron is having issues connecting with his son Dom,
We
and
already went over this part.
and has nothing in mind for him but that he wants to and that he wants he was
Joe Taro, when he has to do a project for driver's ed, writes 2 sentences. Joe Taro, when he watches Space Jam: A New Legacy, 3
He did a
essays.
whole essay for this. He came
after
prepared.
stumbling across a room on the Warner Brothers lot, LeBron and his son are sucked into the film called
Joe
The
Taro, we went over
Serververse.
this.
Shut up. This is where all okay, I'm gonna skip the part where it's about the fucking movie.
Yeah, you should.
A New Legacy really doesn't have anything that suggests it needed to be made. In the end, the life lessons for kids throughout this film have all been done better in other family films. The aspect of meshing Looney Tunes with live action basketball skill kind. Whoever's breathing, shut up. Pudgeon, that's you.
Oops.
The aspect of meshing Looney Tunes with live action basketball still kind of has its charm, but again, the movie just feels like a giant corporate commercial. LeBron James is fine in the movie because he's in his element, but he's not the best actor overall, like Michael Jordan. I smiled a few times and loved the cameos of Rick and Morty and Big Chungus. It's just not that good of a movie. If you're a fan of the original, I'm sure you'll find moments to enjoy here, but it ultimately feels like a tired premise when looking back.
Yeah, no, the first movie's guilty pleasure of all of ours except Jotaro's.
Yes.
I liked it. It's just funny. Well, most of the time. This movie, I think I laughed twice and cried the rest of the other times. Like when he
I
falls out
laughed
the sky.
ironically.
No, when he falls out of the sky and makes a Nike logo, that was pretty good. That was like one of the only things that made me laugh.
Oh, I hated that.
No,
It just felt like
I
very
laughed
like
because it
cash
was so
grabby.
dumb. No, because the entire movie is an ad. That's its purpose. It's an ad. Rick and there was like even in the final like end basketball game, there was like we literally found Among Us in there. There's literally everything is just it's
Yeah,
just
no. The other
there's
thing
a
I noticed.
giant crossover.
The other thing I
for
noticed, there was
money.
there was like a Clockwork Orange in there, which is a movie about a gang of rapists. What is a gang of rapists doing in a movie?
Yeah, and they
about...
didn't include a fucking character from the Looney Tunes who likes to flirt with women, but they include an entire gang of rapists.
Like,
Wait, they didn't bring in
what
Pepe
is
Le
that?
Pew?
Yeah, no, they didn't include him.
Bro,
Wait, who?
what?
Pepe Le shit, as I call
Oh.
him. Yeah, they didn't include him, and they just the whole second act of this movie is fucking terrible.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it can completely cut out. It's just let's go to each random HBO or whatever like Warner Bros owned property and just like do stupid shit. And that might be interesting. And I really want to fanboy at that, but I couldn't because it's not interesting enough. Like
So
it's
if
just
I were
stupid.
to
Yeah, it
describe
has
Space Jam in a
it has nothing
nutshell,
to do with the plot. That's the thing.
so if I were to describe Space Jam 2 in a nutshell, it's if they took Space Jam 1, put LeBron in it, took a shit on the disc, threw it in the toilet, took it back out, and played frisbee with it, and then inserted it into a DVD player, and that's what they got. Am I
And
wrong?
all the actors
No,
do
no,
a
you're not.
horrible job. I mean, some of them are alright. I think the guy who plays Bugs Bunny does pretty good. LeBron
He
James
wasn't
is
an actor.
fucking
He was a
terrible.
voice actor.
Yeah,
The
that's
Sun
Yeah,
is
LeBron
awful. The
James-
Suns are
80s.
awful.
Fucking
Wait,
Don
didn't
Cheadle doesn't know what movie he's in. Like,
Wait, didn't
he's just
Michael
like,
Jordan win an award for Space Jam 1?
Michael Jordan, like even in Space Jam 1, I feel like he did a good enough job. Like LeBron just does not know what he's doing. This movie was like a big miscalculation.
Yeah, but they probably gave LeBron like 2 pages of paper and said, "All right, here's the script."
Here's the script. Fucking makes no
I'm not
sense.
defending LeBron. Like, no, his acting was garbage, but like, it also has to do with the storytelling because the plot and story was just garbage.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that, and also it depends on like direction and shit like that. But like even then, like you got a director who I don't
Wait,
think
there's a
has done
Space
very
Jam
much.
Wikipedia?
there's a Wikipedia for everything, man.
No, like, it's its own website. It's owned by Space Jam.
Yeah, it's Space Jam fandom, right?
Yeah. There's a fandom
Why
for
does it
everything.
deserve a fandom?
Everything has a fandom. Dora has a fandom.
All my
Movie
faith in
was-
humanity has just dwindled.
Dora also has a Rule 34.
Okay.
Can we talk
moving
about the
on.
designs?
Jordan also had a shoe called Air Nuts, and I love that.
Can we talk about the designs of the characters? Because that's a whole other thing.
Horrible,
we
except for
talk
Big
about.
Chungus. Big Chungus was the best part of that movie.
No, so the 2D animation wasn't that bad, but then the 3D animation is
Oh
terrible.
yeah, awful. The
Now,
only decent design is
Logan.
Bugs Bunny, and that's because he's the most basic. He's the most basic out of all of them.
Compared to the old movie, the animation's much better,
Yeah.
but it's just no. Just no.
Yeah. No, like I think the biggest thing that offends me like about this movie is all the references because there's literally no point to it. Like they go into the DC world for no other reason than oh it's DC. Look how cool that is. They go into the Matrix and the grandma's there for some reason, and they make a Twitter joke which is just insulting. Like that is horrible.
No, there were
And-
reasons. There were reasons they went into these places, but the reasons were stupid because there was really no point. For like they're like, oh yeah, these characters went to other places. There was no point for them to go to other places. That was just like
Yeah,
that was just them. That was just their way of saying we don't give a shit. We want money to show off other places.
Yeah, no, but it's like buy Warner Bros stock. Like do all
Yeah.
this like you don't have to do anything to the script. Like we could just take this shit out of the toilet and it's a good movie.
A funny thing is, this all would have been avoided if Michael Jordan didn't stop playing basketball.
And say whatever you want about that old Space Jam movie. At least it's like so stupid it's good. And at least it has a banging soundtrack.
Yeah.
Where is the space in this
It's
movie?
also not a ripoff of anything. or not even a ripoff.
Well-
It's not like based off.
No,
anything.
it's an original idea.
Yeah, it's original. Space Jam 2 is exactly the same thing with like 2 other side plots in there.
But like someone took a fat shit on it, threw it in
That
the toilet,
too.
and played frisbee with it, and then stuck it in the movie player.
Yeah.
No, and like, where is the space in Space Jam 2? Like,
yeah.
there's no
They should have called it
space.
Server Jam.
No, it's called Space Jam because there's so much empty space in the movie that could have been fucking avoided.
And where's the
Mm.
jam?
The best way to
Yeah,
sum up
wait,
this
here's
movie,
another. No,
it hasn't
here's
been
another. Sorry, Logan. Here's another thing, though. This movie is an hour and 55 minutes long. Space
It
Jam
is.
2 was an hour and 26
Holy
minutes.
shit.
Or Space Jam,
Yeah,
the
Space
original
Jam 1
Space
is.
Jam was like an hour and
Yeah.
26 minutes. There is no need or right for this movie to be 2 hours long. No.
Yeah, literally,
just
there's no
no.
reason.
It's just an extra 20 minutes for me to sit there and cry.
Fucking, and like, even the third act, I think the second act is like the worst in terms of writing. The third act is fucking horrible. Like, that's like the big basketball game because it just feels like a circle jerk, like of everything wrong about fucking WB or whatever.
Now,
Yeah,
the thing is, though. Go ahead.
Michael Jordan went 22 for 22 in Space Jam 1, and LeBron went 4 for 5. Shooting. He
Yeah,
missed
no,
a
there was only like 10 shots. There was only like 10 shots per team in the game. Like, it was so unexciting.
unexciting.
Yeah, and there's like
No, the
no
game was
tension.
unexciting. Yeah, there was like barely
I
any
don't think
tension.
unexciting's
And
a
the thing
word.
is, it is.
Yeah,
And
agree
the other
with that.
thing is that like it's the same. Like the game is the same exact thing that happens in the first one.
Oh, unexisting or unexciting is actually a word.
Yes,
I stand corrected.
we've covered this. All right. But it's the
GG,
same.
Pippin.
It's the
Yeah.
same exact thing. They're down by like what 30, 40 points. I mean, yeah, it's different, but it's like the same ratio because there's a lot more points in the new game they play. But it's the same exact thing. Same exact game, same exact thing. Oh yeah, I learned how to do this, which means we win the game in like the final seconds. Like I know that happens in a lot of games or a lot of movies about sports where oh yeah, underdogs and such like that. But it's like the same exact formula, just with more ads, more product
Yeah.
placement. So
And who is this movie made for, really? Like,
there,
let's think
it's-
about that.
I think. All right, all right. Let's be honest. This movie was definitely made for kids with the intent that adults would be like
Yeah, but I don't even
nostalgic
think
for
that kid
this.
would enjoy it. Like, what kid
All
would
right,
want to sit through
no.
this?
Yeah, no. What kid wants to sit through 2 hours?
If I
Like the thing is,
I-
it's Bugs Bunny, so like, oh yeah, Looney Tunes. Like three, like any age below 8 would probably enjoy this movie just because it's Bugs Bunny and they don't give a crap about plot or
and they
anything.
probably know who LeBron is.
Yeah, they probably oh big name, big star, cool movie.
Yeah, there was a
Anyone
couple that
above
said
8
Bugs Bunny
probably
makes
would
me
not
stupid.
like this movie unless you're like really
Oh
nostalgic.
Big Star must be good movie. Shut up.
But yeah, like it's definitely directed toward kids who's just like, Mom, go take me to see this, please. And they're like, you know, whatever, as long as it gets you to shut up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Logan, you haven't said much. You have anything to say?
That's pretty much what my parents did to me with The Incredibles. But
I've
The
been
Incredibles
reading
was
this
a good movie.
Wikipedia article, and I think I get the experience of this movie.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
instead of like offering my take on like what the hell I'm just reading, I think I'll talk about the jokes in and of themselves.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I'll start with like the worst joke in the movie that I saw in the trailer. It was the scene where Porky Pig starts rapping.
Oh
and
God.
they
I was
say
gonna talk
the
about
Oh my
voice
God.
IG.
Oh
forgot
yeah,
about
that.
And it's like literally the worst thing I think I've ever listened to.
That
Like, it
scene.
sounds like my ears need glasses after that.
I would
That
rather
scene-
watch an entire movie devoted to Peter Porker than watching that.
Yeah,
That
'cause,
scene
like, Peter
has
Porker from,
absolutely
Into
no
the
point.
Universe was actually like a funny character.
Yeah,
Like, he definitely deserved to be in the universe.
yeah,
No.
Dude,
That
let's talk about
scene
that on the
has
podcast.
absolutely
I
no
love that
point
scene.
in being in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just rapping for no reason.
they're like, oh yeah, you get an extra 30 points, but Lily like did nothing.
Like, what is that? You could have cut that out of the movie.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
wasn't there an
All
actor in
that
it
stuff
that
about
was
the
from
movie,
Marvel?
working virtually the same.
probably. There
Yeah,
was so-
Don Cheadle, the
Yeah.
villain.
Don Cheadle looks like a bug. Am
And
I
he's like
wrong?
a competent actor.
Yeah,
Like
no,
he's a
he's
fine
a pretty good
actor.
actor.
He looks like
But
a
like
beetle.
Actor.
he doesn't know what movie he's in.
Yeah, he was just
He's
fucking
like the
lost
villain from like Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, he was lost the entire time.
Like he was playing like I guess like an eccentric like business owner or something. Like what was he doing?
Yeah. He kind of reminded me of
Can I
like
say
John
the
Hammond
next
from
joke
the
that I
Jurassic
thought
Park
was really
books,
bad?
where he was an asshole. But
You read?
no, I didn't
So
read.
there's
I read
this
a
other
summary.
joke where it was Granny. I think she was like sitting on a bleacher, and she was holding a martini, and like LeBron James points it out, and she literally says, "Haters gonna hate," and
Oh
then Gabby
yeah.
takes the martini and splashes it over his head. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like the main problem with like this movie and what it's doing is the fact that it tries to be adult, but it's too stupid to be it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Joe Turner
Wait,
just
did you
killed
even
himself.
mention the
Oh
the
my
dad
god!
joke?
Oh yeah.
There's a dad
Oh
joke.
god, no, I
This
didn't.
this movie had a budget of $150 million, and it
Holy
barely
shit.
made 120.
That's sad.
And it still looks shit.
Oh
It
my
looks
god!
like garbage.
No, and uh, early in the movie, like right after the kid Dom's game crashes for the first time, he goes, "Dad, don't," and LeBron goes, "Did you say Dad dab?" And then he
Yeah, and
dabs,
then he dabs.
and at
Bruh.
that point, I think I realized that God was dead and we killed him.
God is dead and we killed him.
The only appeal that I think this movie could have, the only appeal that I think this movie could have is to like man children or something. Like
People that
I
know
wouldn't show
that
my
the
kids
original
that.
movie was better.
yeah,
I
like
would kill
I
my
see
kids
people
before they saw
actually
that.
like this movie and actually want to see it.
If my kids asked to see that, I would kill them on spot.
Like and like there's so
Natural
many I'm
selection at
surprised
its
there wasn't a
finest.
Sopranos reference. I'm surprised there wasn't a Sopranos reference in there somewhere because it's like an
Yeah,
HBO
honestly.
Max thing. Like I'm surprised they didn't have like Daffy Duck in the Sopranos universe as like Tony Soprano fucking a whore or something. That probably would
Smoking a
have been way
cigar.
better than what they actually had.
He's a
I was expecting a Wabbit season joke, but
there was.
there was.
Yeah, there was the
That's
Big
when
Chungus scene.
that's when he was Big Chungus.
He returned to Chungus.
Yeah, he was.
I think I fell asleep during that part.
Probably.
I don't blame you. Like the movie's so fucking boring.
Yeah, no, that's something like
What
you'd
was
throw on if you wanted to fall asleep. Like that's one of the greats, like counting sheep, watching Space Jam 2.
and like what was even the point of having them off like the main Space Jam world other than just getting them like to the fucking other like Warner Bros properties? Really, like there's
Yeah.
no other point of not having them like off the world and just going to
Yeah, no,
DC World.
there
and-
was their point. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, you'd be more famous," but like not really, because it seemed like they didn't belong anywhere or didn't like make any money or anything. Not that it
Can I
matters,
talk
because
about
it
one more
doesn't. They
joke?
can't really use money in the server verse.
Yeah, but what is the point of being more
That's what it's
famous? You're
called.
in a
That's
There's
what it's
Yeah.
one
called.
joke I want to
Yeah,
talk about.
no. Don Cheadle literally calls it the serververse. That was like the first time that I realized that he was lost. He didn't know what movie he was in. He didn't know if he was
Yeah, but,
War
like-
Machine or
But,
Owl.
like, but what was the point of the fucking? What is the point of being famous in the serververse?
Yeah, there's no point. That's the thing. It makes no sense.
and there's literally no point in having them like off the other worlds besides showing off the Warner
No,
Bros.
it's. I think
properties.
it was a reason for the second act, the low point. That was the only reason, because like Bugs had to collect all his friends to play basketball instead of LeBron trying to get an easy win with like King Kong and Superman. But that's like
Oh my
it was
god,
really
the
dumb.
second act low point is so terrible.
Yeah, that was so bad. That was like when LeBron like got mad at Bugs and it made like LeBron like the bad guy, even though he wants to save his freaking son and he also doesn't want to die or not die but get stuck in the
That might have been worse than Suicide Squad. It's like, you know the scene in Suicide Squad where it's like the low point and they all go to like the bar or whatever, and like
Oh
they all have
yeah.
that. They have the dumbass scene where they start like all sharing like they share their problems and it makes no sense. This might have been worse than that because this was like it didn't even make sense why you would even be mad. Like,
Yeah.
so LeBron James is mad because you're not playing good because you're Looney Tunes characters and you're not fucking like actual like people like King Kong and the Iron Giant and Superman. But like even still, like so the solution to this is to just let them be Looney Tunes characters. Like that makes no sense.
No,
Yo, there's
it's the
one
same
more
exact.
joke I want to talk about.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's the scene where like all the guys are together, like Bugs, Daffy, Yosemite Sam, all of them, and Daffy says something like shooting the ball, and then Yosemite Sam like literally pulls out 2 6-shooters
Oh
and
yeah.
blasts Daffy's face off. And I think that was the only time I laughed at one of its trailers.
Yeah, but they did that so much better in the original Space Jam because they have the
Yeah.
two guys,
Yeah, this
Yosemite
movie has
Sam
none
and
of those. It makes it better.
Yosemite Sam and the other guy like go out on the court and do like the was it like a Matrix parody or something like that? Like
No, they went out on the court, like everyone joined them, and they had like this really bad basketball game where no one scored, and it was just like everyone like running into each other and causing explosions in a spaceship. It was so bad. It was a waste of 5 minutes, and I, no
yeah,
one,
but I'm
no.
talking about like the original Space Jam movie
Oh,
when
the
like
original Space Jam. Oh, yeah.
yeah when
I
like
think that's
Yosemite
just
and
a Pulp Fiction reference.
yeah that
Because
joke
you can
was
hear
like a
like
Pulp
the
Fiction.
Miserloo by Dick Dale in the background.
I
Yeah,
was
like
waiting for Bugs Bunny that entire movie to pull out his Samuel L. Jackson and be like, motherfucker.
oh my
He
god.
actually has a mustache and an afro.
Yeah. But this movie was like this movie was Space Jam, but worse. And like Space Jam
No,
as
it
it
was
is, it's already like pretty bad. It's just like so bad it's a good movie. So to be worse than Space Jam, when you have $150 million budget, LeBron James, and wasn't there like 3 writers to this movie?
Bro, there were 6.
There was
yeah the most writers you should have on a
Complete
film is like
garbage.
2.
yeah.
The most writers you should have is like
No
2. The
wonder it
fact
was a
that they have 6
clusterfuck.
fucking writers.
There were 6
Like,
writers for the SpongeBob movie.
All right, yeah, but that was
I'm
which
still
good.
one
figuring
though?
it out.
There's like 4.
Yeah, which one?
The first one.
Oh,
Yeah, but that
okay.
movie, A,
Yeah,
it's
but
a
like,
childhood movie. B, it's actually a really good film.
yeah.
Yeah, but they're targeted at the same exact audience, and they managed to pull it off with that many writers.
Well, that's
Wanna know
because they have
why?
Yeah,
well,
Because they
actually,
understood the source material.
yeah.
Because the people that
Guys,
wrote
you know what's
that
scary?
were. Yeah, I'm sorry for going off on a tangent like this,
No, it's
but
fine. It's
I'm gonna
fine.
tell you each writer and how they worked on the show.
Go for
Sorry to
it.
hijack this.
You guys know. You guys want to know what's
the
very
creator of
scary
the
about
show.
this?
You got
Joe
Derek
Tara, let him
Dryman,
speak.
the creative director of the show. You got Tim Hill, a guy that helped develop the show. You got Ken Osborne, a writer and storyboard artist in the show. You had Aaron Springer, who was also a writer and storyboard artist. And I think there was one more guy. Hold on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Logan, you're bringing up all people that worked on the show. So, like you said, they all knew their material. They actually knew what they were talking about when they made the movie.
Exactly.
They understood the jokes in SpongeBob. They understood the characters. They understood, like, the plot and what they did. So, they actually knew what they were doing. And the 6 writers in Space Jam 2 didn't have 2 shits on on any of the characters. Not even LeBron James.
Oh, there he is. The last guy was Paul Tibbett, and he was a voice actor and writer on the show.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is, like, these people actually understood what they were talking about. Because they weren't just writing for, like, a dumb kids movie. They were writing for something they actually cared about.
Yeah.
It feels like there was nothing, like, they really cared about with Space Jam 2.
Yeah, you're right. The
yeah,
people
no,
for
and SpongeBob is actually
gave a
written
shit.
by like that movie. The SpongeBob movie is written by creative people who like actually know how to tell a joke. First of all, like I rewatched that movie like a few weeks ago, and it was still hilarious. Like even how many years later?
Yeah, like that movie's timeless, but this just feels like lazy. Like they don't even try to make it feel timeless. They just make it dated.
No, they did
Yeah,
that
they
just for
intentionally
money.
date it.
Commit.
Sorry, I just zoned out for a second because I was watching a video of a guy making a clay Keemstar.
Fun. Alright, Jatar, you want to make that final point you're talking about?
So the budget for Space Jam is 50 times more than the budget it takes to make one episode of Breaking Bad.
Wait, Space Jam. In Space Jam.
Breaking Bad's budget per movie or per episode was $3 million.
Jesus.
Budget for the original Shining film is $15 million, and that
shit.
movie
That's
is
10 times
one of the
more.
best.
That no.
No,
The
Space
Shining
Jam's 10
is like
times more.
35 minutes longer and 35 times better.
It's one of the
I
best
would
films
say
ever
35
made.
Yeah,
times
and
less.
it's 10. And they cost 10 times less to make
zero
it.
is still 0.
Yeah.
I think you're insulting The Shining.
I'm not
Okay,
insulting The
so-
No,
Shining, but
it's
like,
definitely a lot better.
So The Shining is probably one of the most beautiful movies ever made. I think we can
Yeah.
all agree on that.
It's a
It's
horror
ju-
movie that
yeah.
actually puts the horror in a horror movie.
I don't think it's scary whatsoever.
No, that's not what horror means. All right, we'll get into that in another episode. But horror just
Yeah,
means like
we'll
creepy.
do that after we watch The Shining together.
Yeah. Anyways, let's give our final ratings. I'm gonna give it a 0 out of 10. Actually, no, a 0 out of 10.
wait. Before we sign this off, the last episodes of Neon Genesis Evangelion had a really low budget, yet they ended up being some of the best, in my opinion, anyway. They ended up being some of the best television ever.
Yeah, that's the stuff
Yeah, but
that
that was
those
because
were the episodes I watched, and those were actually really good.
that was because they had that whole like robbery thing, right? They didn't have that
Yeah,
much
they had
money.
a terrorist
Yeah.
attack, but like still.
Yeah,
Like,
but no,
those
the
episodes
fact
are
is,
so perfect.
no, they're so
gonna
good
talk about
with
the last two
with
episodes.
such little money. So imagine how much better they could have been if they did have more money.
If they did have like the Space Jam money.
Yeah, they had the Space Jam money. Jesus Christmas.
But
All right,
let me
anyway,
just focus on like the last two episodes, just real quick. Those episodes are entirely made up of like stock footage, or like they have a little bit of like new animation. Yet they're so like abstract and beautiful.
But they're
that it's,
entirely
some of the
like
best
recycled
television.
footage.
Yeah, it's some of the best television ever made, like because of that.
I also
Alright.
think they put a lot more effort into Evangelion than they did with.
Oh, 100%. All right.
All
Well,
right, I
anyways,
guess I'll give my score.
yeah.
I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 10.
No, Logan, what do you rate it?
Logan hasn't even
Even
seen
though
it, and I can't wait for his rating.
I didn't even watch the movie.
Yeah, we'll rate
On
it
the
anyways.
trailers.
You could literally, you literally
Well,
like
based on the
see.
trailers, this is a solid -4.
Broke the scale.
So, love me or hate me, I'm gonna rate this movie a 4 out of 10 because it was kind of a fun watch, like being a basketball fan, but it was just so bad. Like the original Space Jam said 7 out of 10.
I
for
thought
me,
I was
but-
being harsh, and I said 0 out of 10. Logan hasn't even seen it, and he gives it a -4.
I gave it a 4 out of 10.
All right.
Bro,
Well,
I
that's
give
fine.
it
We all
1.8.
have our
And
opinions. It's
I
fine.
feel ashamed to even have that.
It should be lower.
I give it 1 point because
If
I
I
think
were
the
to rate it out of
animation-
100, it would be a 33, but I just wanted to feel generous.
I give this movie 1 point because
It's like my old
the
science teacher
animation,
used to
at
say, I'm
least-
going to be generous and take 20 points off your next test.
Yeah, like, but so I give this movie 1 point because the 2D animation is pretty decent for what it is. It's not perfect, and I think some of the acting from some people is decent.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's complete fucking shit.
Nah, I
show.
think I'll also give it a 1. Just because I agreed with what you
had a
said.
change of
It's
heart.
just that I feel like it didn't really deserve it. But a 1 is low enough.
It didn't live up to the hype.
No, God, no, nowhere near.
But imagine if they visited like the Watchmen universe in this movie.
Oh my. All right. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna end it up. This has
Alright,
been
we'll see
Bro
you
How
guys
Watchmen
Tall
in the
episode
next
Talks.
coming soon.
podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next podcast where I'll try to convince them that we will try to talk about Star Wars.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's
Bye.
fine. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.